Welcome to the Unwashed Asses, episode 88, recorded on Sunday for Friday, but still Sunday, March 3rd, 2019. Not gonna lie, guys, I hate people. I hate them with a passion, and it's starting to affect me in ways I don't like, where I'm constantly depressed and angry and frustrated and feel like I'm constipated and want to scream or burst out into song and don't know how to alleviate it or how to let go of the anger and the hurt and the frustration, and something's got to give, otherwise I'm going to put a bullet in my head. Today I saw a car almost, they did spin out of control, did a full 360 while they were getting onto the highway. It elicited no emotional response from me other than, fuck, if I have to stop, this is going to put me behind in my day. I went to the home of a hoarder who had her, looked like a 2-year-old, playing with wood screws while the father was passed out in the bed and a stranger stood in the bedroom fixing their cable. I got a haircut, and the awkward hairdresser insisted on making conversation about the weather, but not in a consistent fashion because I wasn't responsive. Instead, they did a quick little bit about the ice or the snow. This is the weirdest winter we've had in many years, every 5 minutes. I sat at an intersection and watched a car refuse to turn right because a pile of cars behind them were honking incessantly. That brought me small joy. I'm screening calls, not for unknown numbers and solicitors, but for people that I know and just don't want to talk to because I don't have the mental faculties to deal with their bullshit right now. It's aggravating. And I need an outlet. I need a way to either channel this anger, or I need to go full on hermit mode and just disconnect from everyone and everything. And I don't know. Because there's things I want to do, but my own crippling self-doubt and lack of confidence gets in the way. Like last night I was going to record. I had known what I wanted to talk about. But even with the person I trust most sitting there next to me, I couldn't do it because everything sounded dumb in my head. I didn't have that confidence. I finally get what my grandpa was talking about. So things that I want to try and things that I know I could do, I get in my own way and I don't let them happen, and it's aggravating. It fills me with an impotence. Like, here's my big, hard, throbbing cock ready to fuck the world, but I can't get it up. Because I hate myself. And I had found a way to cope and work around the self-loathing and the hate and getting away from the voice that constantly whispers that I'm shit. And I stopped doing it. It was working. And I figured, oh, I'm good now. No, the treatment has to continue. And it was as simple as just paying myself a compliment every fucking day. I installed an app that tracked the habit. I checked that box every day and it fucking worked. So I have to go back to doing that. But it's not an instant fix. It's something that's going to take time. Like this year, I wanted to make lists of, here's what I'm going to accomplish. Here's my set of goals for the year. Here's what has to happen to get them done. Instead, I sit impotently, staring at my computer screen, watching the same shitty videos on YouTube over and over again instead of actually getting things done and progressing and making myself feel worthwhile, while I look at the constant garbage and drivel that's mass-produced and people buy, and I could make better drivel. I could make money off it. I could find self-worth in my work and feel some sense of being alive and happy and rejoice as people pay me compliments while secretly despising them because everything they say is a lie if I do something good. I'm simultaneously the smartest and dumbest person in the world. When scorecards came in this month, of course I was ranked the worst tech in the shop, but I'm still in the top 34% of the state. Succeeding yet failing. I gotta let go. Something's gotta give. Something's gotta give. So, case in point, I'm reading a book, The Sexy Book of Sexy Sex by Kristen Schaal and her husband. I forget his name at the time. It had popped up because as I was playing Anthem, it turned out that she does the voice of one of the vendors. And I've always liked Kristen Schaal's work, from Flight of the Conchords to Bob's Burgers. Everything she's in, it's a delight. But as I read the book, I'm simultaneously entertained and also repulsed at the lack of refinement and editorial work, and it reads like a cracked article that's gone on for far too long. It reminds me of Jon Stewart's book of short stories, which I found utterly delightful and still reread on occasion. I think that's another book I lost. I lost a lot of books in this last move. But it goes on, and there's no sense of pacing or real rhythm to it. It's all disjointed, and it might be because I'm reading it on my phone, but everything is just so across the board and not organized. You'll go from reading a story to jumping to a fucktoid, which is a made-up fact inserted in the middle of the chapter, and there's no real chapter, at least not that I can tell. There's a lot of pictures, there's a lot of lists, there's a lot of editorial mistakes with spelling, egregious spelling errors, and it's just bad. And I want to enjoy it because there is humor there. I do like reading the stories, but the premise being that it's a book on research, and I thought it was going to be fun anecdotes about sex. Instead, they're just wholeheartedly made up stories that are just, some are just terrible. And I realized I could write better than this. I could edit better than this. I could put out something of higher quality and get it published, but I don't, because I sit with this impotent boner doing nothing in my computer chair. We went to a comic book store yesterday, and I saw artwork on the wall. Artwork that was just outright garbage, but somebody got paid for. I saw paintings and quotes and frames selling for $30 that were just outright garbage that I could do better and sell for $30. But I hold myself back. And it's agitating. It's chafing me. I gotta do something. I gotta actually do the work. I have to get these things done and get out of my way, but what if I fail? What if I'm not as clever or witty or humorous or enthralling and entertaining as I think I am? But what if I am? And hence the constant circle jerk and waffling that goes on in my head. I need an outlet. And I think I know what that outlet could be. I hate my Dungeons and Dragons group. I hate them with a passion. Mostly because the GM runs it as if it's his own personal plaything. And I get it, that's kind of what the GM's supposed to do, but don't pretend to take player opinion into account and then just go do whatever you want. Don't tell the group that the new player's playing without their consent. That was the most aggravating thing. It's like, oh, hey, here's a person that nobody's going to like. It's also the ex-girlfriend of one of the other players. And they're now playing with you with no say whatsoever, and I'm going to mock you if you try to bring up a vote to get rid of them, because what I say ultimately matters. None of what you want. So I had come up with a rather robust character when we started playing, with a tragic backstory, as all good backstories should be, and an ultimate objective that would, had the GM not stepped in, ended with me killing everybody in the world. But no, that's not how the story's supposed to go. It needs to go like this. And maybe I'm just adverse to criticism and having an editor, but it's just a constant game of it's like when I was in second grade, I had this quote-unquote friend named Raymond, and I think we've all had this friend where as soon as he started losing a game or it stopped going his way, he would change the rules to, his benefit. If you're playing soccer and you're winning, all of a sudden your goal becomes his goal, and we've, flipped things around. Dickbag. Raymond, you were a dickbag. And that's kind of what's going on here, is, at least that's how I feel it. And individually, the cuckolds that are my other players voice their criticisms and disdain and utter contempt for how the game's going and how it's being handled. Yet when the GM steps in and questions them, they back down like little bitches. They're fucking cowards, and it's aggravating. So while part of me wants to stop going, the other part of me now just wants to break the game and ruin it. Am I an asshole? Yes, I absolutely am. But I need an outlet. And if I can turn every D&D session into a mini CSI session instead by playing the game against the GM or the DM, they're all the same. Instead of going through the carefully crafted and elaborate story that he wants to push us through, I might have to just make my character murder somebody each and every time we get together and force him to try and out my character. Force him to bring the guards crushing down on my head. Force him to put my character before a court of law and act as both judge, jury, and prosecutor while still trying to be fair. Because secretly, the real courtroom is the other players judging him for how he's going to treat my character. Now, granted, I'm doing sneaky and shitty things, but otherwise I'm just going to stop going because I don't care to play anymore. It's not fun. The original premise being that we're going to, as a group of friends, get together and go on storied adventures, and now I just want to gouge my fucking eyes out and spend the entire gaming session on Reddit and Imager sending horrendously pornographic images of cripples and midgets to my fiancé and friends. Not happy. And again, maybe it's a thing that's on me where I need to find a way to fake it until I make it, pretend until I have the pros in my heart, the ability to smile without having to dredge up an old memory that was, I guess, from a happier time. But were there happier times? Again comes the nagging self-doubt, scratching and clawing and ticking away and pulling up the scabs of only recently healed up wounds. Or do I just embrace that it's all futile? We all account to nothing, we all mean nothing, and will ultimately accomplish nothing on this spinning rock that hurtles through a cold, empty galaxy in an even larger, emptier universe? Or do I use that nihilism to give myself the freedom and liberty to do the things that I want? Because in an ultimate fashion, there is no consequence, there is no punishment, there is no reason not to. The only point is to enjoy yourself. As Satan chimes my work phone and assigns me another job, I don't know how. I don't have time. Yeah, these jobs make no fucking sense. My status is wrong, though. Alright, so that's fixed. And that's going to wrap this up. I've got nothing. I am nothing. You're nothing. But together, in all this nothingness, we find meaning together. That's dumb. That's fucking retarded. We'll talk to you guys next time.